course, heading into the second half of the NFL season. Can you believe it? It's gone by so fast. That means things are starting to get tight in a lot of fantasy football leagues. So we have Jeff Kurchini and Russ Bliss from FantasyFootballStarters.com joining us this morning, and we're talking Week 8 of fantasy football, looking ahead at some advice and also the Cardinals game today. Thanks for being here, guys.
Absolutely. Halfway during the season, Tess, we're ready to go.
Fast.
Yep, and injuries are a big topic at this time of the year, huh, Russ?
I know we always cover injuries because that'll make a difference on who people start today.
Right, and we'll start off with the game in London with the San Francisco 49ers, with their quarterback Alex Smith is going to miss a couple of weeks because of a shoulder injury. Troy Smith is going to get the start for San Francisco this week. Then you've also got Brett Favre, of course, the big news all week. Everyone's been talking about Brett Favre with his ankle injuries. He probably will start. He's a game time decision officially.
Nobody knows.
He's ready to go.
Okay.
I just can't see Brad Childress sitting him down when Brett Favre says, I'm ready to play.
Okay. Yeah.
So I anticipate Brett Favre will start. Vince Young is expected to start. He's got the knee and ankle issues for the Tennessee Titans.
But you start him, huh, Russ?
Yes, you start Vince Young. Then at running back, you've got Joseph Adai for the Indianapolis Colts on Monday night. He's doubtful to play with a shoulder injury. Pierre Thomas is out this week with an ankle injury for the Saints. D'Angelo Williams is doubtful with a foot injury. And Steven Jackson is questionable with a finger injury that he actually had surgery on earlier this week.
Okay.
However, he is expected to play. And one wide receiver of note, Malcolm Floyd of the San Diego Chargers, doubtful, not going to play today.
I feel like every time we do an injury list, it gets longer and longer as each week progresses, right?
And I try and trim it down as much as I can.
These
the
are
ones that we're really watching.
Exactly.
Sure.
And then we got the bye weeks, right? Got the Baltimore. Well, we've got Atlanta Falcons. So that means if you've got Roddy White or you got Michael Turner or you got Matt Ryan, you can't play those guys. Baltimore Ravens, Anquan Bolden, Joe Flacco, they're on bye. You got to sit them. Chicago Bears, Matt Forte, Jay Cutler, Johnny Knox, right? Those guys you can't start. And then definitely the Cleveland Browns, Peyton Hillis, Colt McCoy, even if you'd start them. You got to bench those guys. New York Giants, Eli Manning, Ahmad Bradshaw, Hakeem Nicks. Got to make sure that you're not starting those guys. And Philadelphia Eagles, they're on a bye too, so none of those guys.
Teams can really suffer if you're on a bye and you have several players that are on bye, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You just have no options.
Yep, next thing you know, and then you're playing the waiver wire that week trying to pick up extra players.
All right. Now let's talk about some of the players who you say players for real, I guess, you know, that we've been watching. Are they delivering? Should we be worried? Because some folks are worried.
Yeah, well, two of them I want to talk about. First one is Darren McFadden of the Oakland Raiders. Darren McFadden has been tearing it up whenever he's been healthy. Yeah, he had that great game last week against the Denver Broncos. He ran for like 160 some odd yards and 3 touchdowns, had 4 touchdowns overall in the game, produced huge fantasy numbers for fantasy owners. But Darren McFadden, he is for real, but he comes with the injury caveat because he's never been able to stay healthy.
See him run out of bounds? He runs out of bounds a lot too.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Is he healthy right now?
He's healthy right now, so he's definitely a guy you want to have out there. But he can get injured at any time. He's got a hamstring injury that he keeps on having problems with.
All right. What about folks who have Miles Austin? Because a lot of people have him, waiting for him to also.
Well, what happened with Miles Austin is that Tony Romo, when Romo got injured last week, Miles Austin, his production, a lot of people are concerned that it's not going to be what they've come to expect. He's a top 5 fantasy wide receiver, right? They're going to start John Kitna. We're going to find out an awful lot this week because John Kitna had the ability to practice with the ones all week, and it's a great matchup this week against Jacksonville, who's allowed more passing touchdowns than any other team in the NFL so far. If Miles Austin does not have a good game, that's going to be a clear indicator the rest of the season that Miles Austin, his production probably is not going to meet what expectations are.
Okay. We want to talk, of course, about our Cardinals playing Tampa Bay today. Who's going to be starting at QB today?
I know. It's Max Hall.
Max Hall,
unfortunately, it looks like, you know, Tampa is a good team this year, but both of these teams don't play very well against the run. Max Hall is going to give it a go. He's probably going to struggle a little bit. Through the eyes of our analyzer, it looks like the Cardinals are going to lose 20-10. Hall's going to go for about 150 yards, maybe throw a couple of interceptions, maybe 1 touchdown. But the real story this week is, in addition to Max Hall starting, is the fact that it looks like Beanie Wells is going to get the start, and he's going to take the bulk of the carries. And this will be the first. I mean, Coach Wisenhunt went out and said, we're going to give this guy the ball. We're predicting him to go for about 95 yards, 17 carries. This is important to them, Tess. We've talked about it before. If they don't establish the run game, now Arizona, they're last in the NFL in offense right now. If they don't establish that run game, they're going up against a pretty good Tampa team, right? Josh Freeman, the quarterback for Tampa, is having a good year. They're starting LeGarrette Blount, their rookie running back, somebody that was undrafted. This kid has made it to the starting lineup over Cadillac Williams. Look for him to get 65 yards. But this Tampa team, they think they're good enough to beat anybody, Russ.
Who do we need to watch out on the Tampa team? I know Blount, his name's been mentioned.
LeGarrette Blount, yep, he's a running back, and then you got Mike Williams, a Wookiee wide receiver as well. They got a pretty good little core of rookie players, second-year players that I think can make it happen.
However, I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. Low-scoring game, 17-14.
Oh, and he's wearing a Cardinal jersey too.
Well, you said it was Halloween. You said that out as something scary. I'm a
Test.
normal guy.
And then he shows up with an Arizona jersey. I can't believe it.
All right. Last but not least, of course, we always give you a fantasy football question and giveaway. And let's touch upon last week's question, because you said like 93 out of 100 people got this wrong.
Yes. Last week's question was, who threw the winning touchdown pass in the Cardinals' first win as a team based in Arizona? Because it was against Tampa Bay back in 1988. And the correct answer was Cliff Stout. He threw the 42-yard touchdown pass to Jay Novacek.
Everyone thought.
Neil Lomax was by far the most popular.
Yes.
I got some Kurt Warners and Gary Hogaboom answers.
Kurt Warner wasn't even born then.
But Katie Morgan of Glendale was our winner. She was the
News
first
Channel
one
3
with the
viewer.
correct answer.
Awesome.
Katie Morgan, congrats. Took a lady to do it.
All right, what's the question today?
Okay, which Arizona Cardinal defensive player had 2 sacks and a forced fumble last week against Seattle? First person to email Jeff at fantasyfootballstarters.com the correct answer wins our championship package, $24.95 value between now and the end of the season, and we're going to help you win, Tess.
There you go. I know you're helping my husband. He's 6-1, and he's like always, tell them thanks for the tips. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
So check it out. If you're not familiar with fantasyfootballstarters.com, we'll have a link on our website at azfamily.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Still